Audio? Testing, 1, 2. That should work. Why was that muted? I don't know. Is it up now? Can you guys hear me? Looking for audio. Check. Check, 1, 2. Let's see. Yay! All right. That was a great start to the second show. And as I started, what I was saying was that I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder if things are working right. It's a lot to get used to, all this streaming stuff and audio. And I got some lights. I got my mic here. Let's see if you can see. I got a big mic hanging here, like this thing. I got some lights. And it's like a little weird. There's a lot of stuff going on. I've got the chat window. I'm trying to keep track of the chat window, which I know is going to be a challenge. Although it will be more of a challenge if more people were watching, right? We got a couple people online today, and I'm psyched to have you guys here with me in this crazy journey of this stream, and I'm kind of excited about it, but it's a little crazy. So what's going on? Let's see. Took a little break. Had the first show. It was a little weird starting getting some momentum going because I did the first show before the holiday break, and now it's been really a few weeks. But I want to get this going. I want to start to do this every Wednesday. Is going to be the plan. So, like I said, it's been a few weeks, and in the last show, I did create like a basic website, and then I was going to deploy it. I set up a build, but didn't actually deploy it, and I'm going to do that in today's episode. However, and again, I don't know if I'm breaking the rules of like the live streaming. I don't know if there's really any rules, or I can just do whatever I want to do, but I want to try to build everything on the stream. However, I realized I didn't like a few things I did last time, and I decided to go in and make some changes because I didn't think they were like significant to like if anyone's keeping track of what I've been working on. So I changed the name of the solution already. I don't remember exactly what I had in here last time, but I changed it to Shwami Streams web.asp.net, and I also, so I renamed these things and renamed the repo a little bit. And otherwise, it's basically the same. I think I might have only had one project last time. I have a shell of an API project in here now. I've got an ASP.NET project, and I've got a back-end shell. Again, these projects you can see this project's empty. The other thing I did was I couldn't bear to, I'm going to run this now. I couldn't bear to have the website just be the plain ASP.NET, template. Oh, it's always going to the wrong window. So this is what it looks like now. Not terribly exciting. Wait, that's not what it looks like yet. Oh, there it is. All right, look at that. Welcome to Shwami Streams, fun coding and a bit of chaos. I think that's going to be my tagline, fun coding and a bit of chaos. Just like today when there was no audio. I think there's going to probably be chaos on this show. So I don't know. I'm not like a color guy. I'm not really good with this stuff. So I decided to take some colors out of this really cool image I have of myself. And so I kind of grabbed the brown theme. It's going to be the brown theme for now. And we'll see what happens. So this, I don't think these letters are black. I think that's supposed to be brown, although it looks a little black. Hard to tell. It's supposed to be this dark brown from here. Anyway, so now I have a little bit something more to deploy. And then my plan is to start adding some features to this website today, if all goes well. So let's see. This is always weird trying to figure all this stuff out. So I need to go over to dev.azure.com and find where I have the pipelines. So I'm still not really that used to this project here. So I think So I have a build pipeline, and let's see. This was 1.7. Yeah, so this was updated yesterday. So this build, I had to make a slight change to the build, which is to point it at the right repo, because I did change the repo. And so what I wanted to do on today's show is get this thing into Azure. At least get this website into Azure. And so then I have some other ideas, and I'm going to start adding features. And when I start adding features, I'm going to be following some patterns that I like to use for software development, and I hope that that'll be interesting to anyone who's watching. So let's go to the Azure portal. And I was logged in. Let's see. I guess. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I don't recall, and this is going to be one of the challenges, especially when there's a gap between the shows. If I created Stream's website service systest, actually this is probably it right here. This will be the home of the website and where it goes. And you may recall that I use a naming convention, which is the object that I want to create. The SVC stands for the fact that it's an app service, and systest is the environment. Even though I'm just hacking around on these things on my own, I want to treat it like we're in a real professional environment, that we're going to have multiple environments and all that kind of stuff. And the Schwami is on the end because it's global unique, and so I'm putting that there, and I'll probably change that later anyway. But okay, so what I want to do now is I want to create a release pipeline. This is a build pipeline, and we're going to separate the pipelines, builds and releases, and keep those separate. So if I go to releases, you can see I have no releases, so that's pretty easy. And I want to create a new pipeline. Now, what I'm going to do is this is going to be an Azure App Service deployment. And so I'm going to use that template to start with. And let's see what that does for me. It puts in a task in here. And that task is going to be, where do I want to deploy this app service, right? So the first thing I need to do is choose my subscription. Now, when I go down here and I hit the drop-down arrow, you'll see that I have 0 available Azure Service Connections, and I have 2 available Azure subscriptions. Now, the one I want to deploy to is the Windows Azure MSDN subscription of mine. But the best way to do that is not to select it here. If I select it here, then you need to authorize it. You need to do some different stuff. What I really want to do is go over to I believe it's in project settings. I'll leave this page. It might just delete that whole thing. But and I want to go over to, and now I have to service connections, I believe, and pipelines. Let's see if I'm right about this. And sometimes things get moved around. What are these? This is, oh, that's not what I want. Service connections. I thought it was here. Maybe it's add. Is there an add button? I'm already getting this. Let's see. I've done this a couple times, but when you got to do things in front of people, things get screwed up. I don't think it's a service hook. And I tested this just the other day. That's something totally different. So I really thought it was considered a service connection, but I have no way of adding them. All right, so the other thing is sometimes off to a good start here. Sometimes there are settings that are in the organization. Now, let me just see if it's in here. Pipelines. No, it's not in there. Oh, crud. For all I know, they might have moved stuff already. Let's try it again. So I'm going to go back to here. Go to... Let's just choose the... Oh, no, I want to go to settings. Why am I not seeing it? It has an asterisk next to service connections, too. What does that mean? I don't remember ever seeing that before. There's a filter. This is not it. All right. So, Why am I not seeing what I want to see? Settings. Okay, maybe I'm in the wrong spot altogether. Try adding it via new service connection. Hey, how's it going? Under new service connection, so where new service connection is here? Yeah, I don't see. Am I crazy? I don't see new service connection. Oh, duh. All right, so I'm looking for like a different color box. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, but like an idiot, I don't know why. I'm like, this is blending in. This is what happens when they're on a live stream. Thanks, C. Howdshell. It's Chris, I guess. Hey, how are you? By the way, thanks for being here. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a connection. I swear they changed this. This does not look exactly like the way it looked, but you never know. I want to create a service connection to, I guess it's going to be an Azure Resource Manager. It doesn't seem familiar to me, but this is what I want. Yep. Okay, good. No problem. Yep. UX updates to DevOps. Oh, okay. Maybe there were some updates. This makes these kind of things really fun. So I'm going to call this connection, Andy's MSDN subscription, right? And I'm going to connect it to my MSDN subscription. I'm not going to go to a particular resource group. I'm just going to say it's good for everything. And I'm going to say allow all pipelines to use this connection. That's generally the way I do it. So what this is going to do is this is going to create a connection between my Azure DevOps subscription and my Azure subscription, right? Those sound like they're the same thing, but those are two different things. And it's important to connect those two. So I think it's going to ask me to authenticate. Yep. And I'm going to go to... And hopefully this is going to work, because I have done this before. It's setting it up, and it did create it. Now this, I'm pretty sure this UI is different than it used to be. That's really throwing me off. Wouldn't be the first time I've done presentation and things were quite different than way you expect them to be. And that's sort of the world when you're using Azure in particular. And Azure DevOps, things change. But Azure in particular, things are always changing. And that really makes it interesting. But it is what it is. All right, so now I'm going to go back to release pipeline. That last one didn't get saved because I really just kind of bailed out in the middle of it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to create the Azure App Service deployment. Okay. And now, if all goes well, I will see it as an available Azure service connection. And that's going to go to my MSDN subscription. That is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. The app type is going to be a web app on Windows. The app service name. Now, I should see, this is a drop down of the app services that are in my subscription. Okay. So you have to have an app service to exist in order for it to show up in this list. There's other ways to do this, and we're going to get there. The really proper way to do this is to not have the Azure service exist yet. The best way to do it is to create the Azure App Service right now with what is called an ARM template. We're going to get to that, though. I'm going to do this in steps, and I think for today, I'm just going to sort of deploy the site. So I'm going to call this stage the sys-test stage, even though we won't have super too many environments, but let's just do that anyway. Before I get this to go, I have to go back to the pipeline though. It doesn't know what I want to deploy. So I want to deploy to this Azure App Service. What do I want to deploy? And what I want to do is I want to go to the output of a build, and I'm going to go find the build, and it's Swami Stream website is the build. Okay. And what this will do is this will take the output of the build. And if you remember last time, we took the output of the build and we put it into a, what's that called? Into the drop folder. And hopefully that's still right. I hope I didn't mess it up in the days in between. I want to take the latest version. It's going to create this source alias of _swami.stream website. It says no version is available. The latest version has no artifacts. So that means maybe something's messed up. We'll take a look at that. In any case, we're going to add it, and this will then take that output, and this will deploy it into this app service. It's kind of simple at this point. Eventually, these builds and releases will get more and more complicated. Oops. Let's stay here. I guess I didn't hit save. Do I want to put this in a folder? How about a Shwami? How about a Shwami Streams folder? Why not? Okay. So now I have the... Oh, and I didn't name it. I always forget to do that. So I'm going to call this Shwami Streams Web. I don't know. I always get names all wrong, and I hate them, and I got to go back and change them later. But I'll call it that for now and save that. Now let me go back to the build. So this is the build we ran. I might have had to recreate this, and we might not be getting the drop anymore. We're not. I don't see that part in here. So the build, I recreated this build. I had to do that when I changed the repo around behind the scenes. So this is going to do a build of my project, and this is going to test the project. Now what I want to do is called, I think it's a copy. Copy and publish. It says deprecated, use the copy files task. So I think this even says instead copy files task and the publish build artifacts task. So I'm going to use the copy files task. What I love about this UI is that over in this section, this is a simple text editor, but they came up with this way of making an editor, like a nice UI for it, and it's pretty convenient. So the source folder, empty is the root of the repo, use variables. Okay, so I think we want build directory. That's probably what we want, and I forgot. We did this last time, and I think, let's see something real quick. If I go to dev, I think I'm allowed to change my mind mid-thought on a stream like this. Again, you know, you got to all put up with my chaos. Oh, wait, the code is not in Azure. The code is in GitHub, right? That confuses me because I'm used to using Azure DevOps for all my source code. And now, so I wanted to see if I deleted the old repo from here. If I did, and it looks like I did, which was kind of stupid because I could have copied the stuff I want to do here. Now the target folder is going to be this build artifact staging directory. I think this is what we want to do. That's going to put, oh, so check this out. By the way, I installed, and hopefully you guys can see this, I installed this little utility called Karnak. And what that does is every time I type a command, let's say like Control V, it gives you the indication of what I typed up here. I actually saw that Jeff Fritz was using that on his stream, and I thought like, wow, that seems like a really cool idea. So when I'm doing things, you know, I want people to know what I'm typing and stuff like that. It doesn't type every keystroke. You could have it do that, but that would get kind of crazy. But for things like when I'm doing like a control something or a shift something, it will share that information with the viewers. So so that's kind of cool. I don't know. I thought it was pretty neat. All right, so let's do. I don't remember. I did this last time, and I barely remember what I do. But the point is now that I've copied those to the artifact staging directory, although I might not need to deploy on build, I think I needed to check this. So the desktop build package location is already the artifact staging directory. So I don't think I need to copy things over here. I think I can get rid of this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the publish, I believe it's called. Publish build artifacts. Okay. I'm going to take what's in the artifact staging directory. I'm going to create a drop folder, and it's going to go into there. And so let's just make sure my mouse is in the right spot, my cursor. And when I insert it, that will go there. So I have to save this again. Now the cool thing, again, keep in mind, is when I save this file, this is a YAML file, and this YAML file will get committed into my repo. So since I just tried to save it, it's going to ask me for a commit message. I will just leave the thing and I'll commit it into the repo. When I do that, it's probably going to start to build itself. I don't know if it will or not. Let's find out. Because this should be built to, automatically do a build. So I want to get to building some features here. I find I spend a lot of time on Azure, on DevOps in general. It's kind of critical to get things straightened out right from the beginning. But as a developer, I really want to get right in there and start writing code and do some fun stuff. But in the meantime, this build is working. So while this build is working, let me say that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would, right? So if you're watching on YouTube, you could subscribe and you could hit the thumbs up button. And if you're on Mixer or Twitch, do me a favor and follow me. I'd appreciate it. And the other thing is, while I'm doing this, feel free to have comments coming in. You got a question, you got a suggestion, throw it out there. I'll do my best to try to work that into the conversation, right? I want to be here for people that are watching and move this in the direction where people might have questions and things like that, and go right along with that. This should not take that long. Come on, pipeline. Let's see. Oh, okay, that finished. Now, since it finished, up here in the artifacts, we have a drop folder. And in that drop folder, we have the stuff we would need. I believe this is all the stuff we would need for deployment. Okay, because there's multiple projects in there. So this is going to be something we have to keep track of. Now, I added 3 projects to this solution because I know that I'm going to need to have... I know that I'm going to need to have them. So that will, let's see. So let's go back to here. And now in my release pipeline, I edit that. And my guess is that if I don't say anything specific, how is it going to know which app to deploy from that folder? Because there's probably more than one. Web app on Windows, the output, app service name. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm going to run this anyway. I've done this before with multiple projects in the solution, and I could have sworn that there were more questions that it asked me. But it's not asking me. And so I wonder if there's a different template that I should have been using. Very interesting. Well, I will find out. Let's create a release. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to run it. Release 1 has been created. Yay! And then we'll be like, how about this? It's queuing up, so let's do this, my favorite sound effect. Oh, there it goes. Here it goes. In progress. Come on. All right, it's downloading the artifact. All right, enough of that silliness. So the sound effect for the car button is right next to the stop the stream button. So I do have to be careful that I don't press the wrong button on my Stream Deck. All right, so this is going. Let's see what's doing. So by the way, I can click into this and I can see the output. Successfully updated active service. Final. Okay, it says it succeeded. Now, there's only one way to find out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and navigate over to my app service, which is this long-winded name app service here. And I can simply, well, there's a couple ways to find out, but let's go to the site. Let's see what happens. Wait. Ah, yeah, look at that. Can't be found. That's interesting. Show me stream Did I deploy it to the right website? First, let's check that. I was kind of going along pretty quick, and the task says, yep, it should have deployed it. So what I'm thinking happened is it deployed something, but it didn't deploy the right stuff out of that folder. That's my guess. If I go and look over here, so let's go into some of the tools, and we can see what's in the app service. So here I'm in the app service, my app service here in Azure, and there's a couple of things I can do. One is I can go to the app service editor, and this will show me some of the files that are in there. There's also the advanced tools over here. I think in this case, this will be the one that'll work. I'm going to click into this, and oh boy, it's always asking me to sign in on things. Well, let's see. All right, so what I can see, yeah, see this? So it deployed this stuff, but did not deploy any of the website, right? I would see it in here. This is what's in the www root folder, and you can see there's an exe and the API. This is not the correct deployment. So we have a problem, which is great. So now let's see what I need to do. I need to, let's see if I can't filter it here, but I know that I've done this. So I'm wondering if there's another task I can get. So I'm going to go here and see if there's another app service. If there's a different, I don't know why it didn't let me configure it. That was this. App service config since you used a folder. Well, it's not what I want to have happen. Oh, wait. Okay. Now, I don't know why, but before I would see this, I swear I was not getting these questions before. Now, maybe that's because I did the deployment once and I didn't do it before. This is the problem. See this package? This is wrong. I don't want to deploy the whole zip folder. I want to be specific in deploying the web app. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't... Remember I was saying earlier, why don't I have more settings in here? And I thought I was on the right thing, but I was not seeing all this stuff, and I knew there was more. Why wasn't I not seeing it? I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to how I got stuck, but every time I go here now... Oh! Like an idiot. Okay, so this is live. So the... what I say my tagline was going to be, coding, fun, and a little bit of chaos. So I don't know why. I guess I apologize. I did not click on this down here. And what it was trying to do is just trying to deploy the entire folder, which I kind of predicted, right? And that's what happened, and that's what we see over there. What I want to do is find out what I want to deploy. And I don't know if I get... Oh, look at that. I get the help I need. So I want to go into here and, well, I thought, actually, now that I think about it, it is deploying star.zip. There's only one, well, I don't know what's in this web app.zip. Before the circle was empty with no check mark. The circle was empty with no check mark. Michael, which circle was empty with no check mark? Oh, this circle, this check mark here probably. Yeah, because I think I was like, or I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, I was not in the right spot. So now I'm thinking, how have I done this in the past? The zip file. So all right, let's do it this way. Let's close this. Let's close this. I don't think I need these things here. Let's go to another. Oh, this is like off to a heck of a start. Dev.azure.com. And you can go with me on this journey of you know, making mistakes along the way. The build, oh, not the build, sorry. If I look in here, I clicked the wrong thing. Back to here. Look in here, and I can see the artifacts, and we see the drop folder. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this drop folder to my local machine. Let's open it in my downloads. Where did it go? Did it go to the wrong screen? Thought I said open it, show in folder. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's extract all and see what's in there, what the shape of this folder looks like. And so, oh, this is not right at all. What the? I don't think that's right at all. Well, there's two things in here. I want to deploy this website, but this does not look correct at all. So I think that in addition, something is wrong in this how do I get back to it? In here. So it's probably one of these things. Package is right. Package is a single file. That might be false because there's more than one project. I wonder if that's the problem. Skip invalid configurations. Desktop build package location. Web app.zip. Deploy iOS app. I don't know what that is. I get the feeling that, you know what? So if I click on this, see, this is always cool. I click on settings and it opens it up over here. Oh yeah. So I'm not going to get any like help because this is one big string over here of things. But I'm going to do. Somehow I get the feeling that this might be causing some trouble. And so, oh, that's funny. It's thinking that that's a. I think that, where is it? Create just the web deploy package. Huh. Package is a single file. Maybe that is correct. I thought, well, this stinks because I've not had this trouble before. And what I'm learning is, by the way, that it is really hard to think and stream at the same time. So, whereas if I was at work, I would probably be able to like clear my head and be like, oh yeah, I know what to do. So I rely on you guys to solve these problems. Let me think. Chris says, release artifact was deployed to Azure. You had a self-contained exe and web config. Is the issue that it isn't loaded on the Azure App Service side? Well, release artifact was deployed. Yes, right. The release. Yeah, I know that the release artifact was deployed. We saw that there. Yes. You had a self-contained exe and web config. Is the issue that it isn't loading on the Azure App Service side? Well, if I look at the Azure, I close the portal. I closed my app portal. Okay. Let's go back to portal.azure.com. And, oh, it's making me log in again. So, I thought that I'm going to try this one here. I thought that it would be it would look like I would see the stuff inside the folder. So I'm going to go to this. This is like another tool that you can use to see what is inside of the thing, what got deployed. And so all the stuff should be inside of this www root folder, right? And what I don't see in here is any kind of other files. So I was thinking that he says, is the issue that it isn't loading on the Azure App Service side? It doesn't have the stuff it's supposed to have. It has a few things, but it doesn't have the web app. The files that it should have, and I don't know why. Now, let me see. There should be more stuff in here, shouldn't there? So, what am I doing wrong here? Deploys a single file. True. What if I take this out? I'm not sure exactly what this does. It sounds like it does the right thing. And it was in the settings, but let's take this out. I really want it to... Well, hang on. Another thing we could do is tell it to just build the project. How do I do that? Oh, again, that's an input to here. Solution. So how can I do like that? I want to slash into the project, which would be not really sure. The solution, and then it would be like swamistreams.web.asp.net. That might solve the problem for the first part, but I'm not sure that path is right. The idea here is I only want to build that one ASP.NET project and see what that does. See if it looks different. Not sure that that's right. Solution, is that a solution folder? I really don't think that's right. Yeah, I need the name of the proj anyway. Well, this sucks, right? Platform. Let's see. Very hard to think and stream at the same time. Thinking that if I... Oh, that's not it. What I'm thinking is get an idea of the path. The solution is here. So, oh man. Holy crow. Let's go back to this thing. You know, it's crazy because I have done this many times, but not had a problem. So, all right, I'm going to take a look at something real quick. All right. So what I'm going to do is take a look at some other code that I have. And to do that, I'm going to open up Edge, and I'm going to put it on a different window. I apologize, but I am going to sneak a peek. And see what doesn't seem right. Dun dun dun. I need like some little music that plays like, please stand by. Andy's screwing everything up and has no idea what he's doing. Okay, two-factor authentication. Got to appreciate that. All right. So while I'm doing this, you guys are probably leaving me. Give me a sec. I'm going to look at pipelines and other projects that I have. So let's go to build pipelines. And let's look at, that's not a good one. Hoping I can quickly see the error in my ways. Here's one that should be. Okay, so I do that package as a single file thing. Published a artifact staging directory, copy that, releases. And now I got another idea too, but let me just check the release. See what I'm doing wrong here. Same thing is what it looks like. So I have an idea. And I think I can get this thing working. Let me just check this. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Because I do want this to move along, and I'm hoping I can solve this problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove two of these projects. Well, let's stop debugging. I'm going to leave only the ASP.NET site. These other two are just in there for future sake. And then, so I'll do that. Okay. Now I will delete those folders, API and backend. Get rid of those. Check in my changes. What's all that? Oh, that's the whole API. I didn't really have anything in there, I don't think. API. It's just deleting the files. Sure. Okay, I committed those. Push them up to Git. And now, let's just see if this whole structure of things looks different. And because this is just not going great. Where's my browser? I thought, oh God, I have so many browsers open. Very confusing. All right. This is the build. Why isn't the build going? Why isn't the build going? Why isn't the build going? Oh, failed to publish. Push remote. It's the output window. Remote. Oh, okay. So I have a conflict. That's because I changed the YAML file for the build definition, okay, here, and so I have to pull that into my repo, and then I'll be able to do a push, okay. Even though it seemed like I was just making a change in Azure DevOps, I was actually changing the repo, and that made it commit into Git. So now I pulled that thing down. Do the push, that's fine. And now this should have this new build working. And so let's see Oh my. You know, I was tempted to work some of this stuff out in advance and off the stream and like do some of this stuff and then tear it down and then redo it on the stream or what. And I'm getting an alert that says snow squall warning till 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is it snowing out? It looks kind of sunny out my window. I don't know what that's all about. How about that? All right, this thing is wrapping up. And, you know. So, what I was really hoping to do is start building out some features. And when I do build out features in this app, what I'm going to do, I think, is create a little database that holds the name of each episode and some of the details of the episode. Because I need some data. And I'm going to build that out. And I'm going to display and have a way to edit it and display it on the website. So now I've got some CRUD action going on, right? I can have some updates and ads and deletes and things like that. And, I like to use patterns like repository pattern and unit of work pattern, solid principles, unit testing, and all that stuff's going to go on. So if you're wondering why you're sticking around, that is what I hope to be doing. So now it certainly looks less complicated, but what I want to do is see what this looks like. So I'm going to download it again. Oops. And it has this weird folder structure, which I think is somewhat correct and somewhat weird. But all I'm getting is... Yeah, so this stuff is in there. Okay. Well, let's see what happens if I do a release again. So let's create a new release. I didn't wire it up to be automatic yet. So release 2 has been queued. And, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to figure it out and fix it and explain what I did last time, but not bore you all with all of the minutia, I think, because it's probably something dumb. And let's just hope this works. Okay, so it says it worked there. If I go back to the, oh, that's not it. Go back to the, oh, where the heck is it? I don't know. App services. Aha! Oh my God. Yes. So that's what I was supposed to do about a half hour ago. And so my feeling is that the zip file included those 3 projects and it was confused. Now what I want to do is take a look over here again with the developer tools. In this case, I'll use this app service editor again because I think it's easier for this. And now, well, I see a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I don't think this was here before, like these files and stuff like that. And I think that the zip, maybe I didn't notice. Maybe I thought these were all under www root. Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe I wasn't looking close enough. These little subtleties, like here, and it almost looks like these are indented underneath that. And so I might have thought that they were indented. I don't know, but it worked. So, and an hour is up, which is really disappointing me. So I guess that's going to be part of this process, is me figuring out, and I thought I bit off a small chunk of work to do in this episode. I feel like this is the apology episode because I'm just disappointed. In the next episode, I'm going to start building out some features, as I discussed earlier. And when we do those features, going to see the patterns I like to do, as I said earlier. Learning to debug problems is just as important as writing code. Thanks, Chris. And thanks, Michael. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm telling you, this is interesting, to say the least, being on this side of things. Yeah, and I agree, by the way, in what Chris is saying is that the part of these live streams, and a lot of developers are doing these live streams now, part of what goes on in these things is failures, is problems, right? It's not rehearsed, it's not scripted, but problems. The flip side to that, though, is I want to make sure that I'm using people's time wisely. And if I advertise that on a certain episode, we're going to do a certain thing, it'd be nice if I could get around to that. And so that's going to be part of the learning curve for me. The good news is we won't have such a long break in between this and next week's episode. But anyway, what I was saying is I'll be using things like orchestrators and dependency injection and all this kind of stuff in .NET Core to build, in this case, a somewhat simple application, but somewhat realistic, hopefully fairly realistic application that is like enterprise type work. And so I hope you guys will hang in there with me for next week, where we will be doing that. And at that point, I'll be writing more code. We could talk about code. I hope you guys will throw in suggestions or questions about why I'm doing certain things, or suggest other patterns and things like that. And we'll have some fun, and we will do it like that together. I think this statement here, a little bit of chaos, certainly, maybe this is a moniker that I should keep for the show. Fun coding and a little bit of chaos. Hopefully fun. In any case, so there's a few things I'm trying to learn how to do. One is to figure out what I can actually get done in a show. The other is how to think and stream at the same time, think and solve problems that are happening live. And the third one has always been hard for me, is how to wrap up and how to end a show. And I'm going to try to be good and not ramble at the end of a show. And so my point here is, I think we've wrapped it up. We've done enough stuff for today. I'm going to end it here. I really, really, really appreciate you guys' time. And thanks for the help. And I will see you guys next week.